first of all, Cristina and Luisa, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us. We're so excited.
I'm excited too. But yeah, getting the ball rolling here. Would you, maybe Cristina and then Luisa afterwards, want to give a little bit about what you do? And yeah, we'll work from that.
Yeah, would love to. So, my name is Cristina Aroche. I am a spiritual mentor and an angel channel. And basically, what I do is I support people on their journey of spiritual growth and awakening and helping them to connect to their soul's truth and who they're here to be, and do that with the guidance and support of the angels. So, part of my work is educating people about angels and how to deepen their connection and how to be able to work with them in their everyday life. And then the other part of it is helping people to understand who they are on a soul level and what their gifts are and to pursue that path.
Amazing.
And I am Luisa Vélez. I am a communications expert, and I come from a very different environment. I've been working in the private and public sector doing PR for many, many years, but I'm also an intuitive and an angelic healer. So I'm reconciling those two things with a PR agency focused on intuitives, healers, coaches, and conscious brands wanting to be seen and heard in the world. And that's how I'm bringing this work through.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how would you say that all culminates on Christina's channel?
Yeah, it's so interesting because naturally it's been such an interesting unfolding for us, and how the world and the angels have guided our work together. And little by little, all of our worlds are merging together with the podcast. So it's just one centralized place for us to just share our message with people. Our objective really with the podcast was to normalize these conversations. I was born with gifts and abilities that I couldn't really understand, that couldn't really talk about. And I feel like our gifts have been taboo for so long that we really wanted to create a safe space for people to feel seen and validated, and know that they're not alone in their journey. And of course, with Cristina and her angelic work, just knowing that they're supported by the divine, and specifically, well, with angels.
Beautiful. All right. So let's get right into it. What are these angels? How would you describe what these beings are that commune with you? And also, what do they tell you? What are the messages
Mm,
that come across?
I love that question. So, I would start off by describing angels as energetic beings, these energy beings that are of divine light and love. So, they're directly connected to whatever you want to call it, whether it's source, God, divine, creator, there's all sorts of names for that, but it's that source of divine light and love that we all come from. And so to me, angelic beings are energies that are directly connected to that are here to support us and guide us on our journey. And anyone can connect with them. It's not like certain people have the ability and other people can't. And I used to think that, by the way, until my own journey of unfolded and helped me to discover that connection. But when we work with the angels, it really supports us in aligning with that highest path. And so the messages that come through, I mean, I work with angels in many different ways. So I do share collective messages, meaning that I talk about what angels are coming in, how they're supporting the collective, meaning what everyone is going through more or less in terms of patterns that are happening around the world, frequencies that people are experiencing, chaotic energies, etc. So they come in to bring through messages of healing, of hope, of remembrance. And that's a huge thing that I think comes through with these messages, is that when people hear them, it helps them to tap into a deeper level of remembrance within themselves, because I believe that as a soul, we all have this knowing. It's just that we forgot. And so when we
Hmm.
connect with the angels, it helps us to remember. And as we bit by bit, little by little, have these instances of remembrance, it's almost like a puzzle piece, a big puzzle, and each little moment of remembrance is a piece of the puzzle that we put together. And suddenly it's started to get clearer and clearer and clearer. Not that quickly, though. Okay. This is an unfolding over many years for people. And then also I share messages on an individual level. So I work with people one-on-one or in smaller groups, and the angels will come in and guide people specifically regarding their situation, regarding what they need to know, regarding a particular unfolding in their life. And the other thing that I'll just add real quick is that I feel like when it comes to working with the angels, it's not so much of a what's the right answer? What should I do? Like asking the angels, what should I do? What's the thing? And it's more so a connection of help me to align with my highest good and help me to remember what my truth is. And so they don't take our power away. When we go to the angels and like, can you do this for me? Or can you, what's this answer? What's this? It kind of makes it so that we don't have to decide for ourselves, but they give our power back. And they're like, well, we'll help you to remember who you truly are, and we'll help you to connect to the light that's within you so that you can remember your true soul essence and then act accordingly. And that's how they guide us.
Do you have anything to add, Luisa?
I think that covers it pretty well. One interesting thing that I'd like to add maybe is how in our when we're in conversation and when we're talking about them, as with many other types of energies, they come and they listen and they tune in. So one really fun thing about the podcast is that we have angels on all the time. And so having an archangel channel on the podcast is super fun, because then we get to just literally have them on almost as guests on the podcast, and they bring through their messages. And it's just really fun to work with them. And maybe something important to highlight is that everyone connects with the angels in different ways, and you don't have to be a channel necessarily to connect with them. We'll have them and they're around us, whether we know it or not. And there's physical sensation, there's intuitive guidance, there's physically seeing them right in front of us with our physical eyes. But however that looks like, just trusting that you can talk to them on your day to day and communicate. It's very important.
Cool. So let me ask you this one. Would you say maybe they are allowing us to remember our own angelic nature?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of like getting us in on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really important point that you bring up, because that's a common thing that I see with people, is kind of that sense of like, who am I to be connecting with these angels, like these angelic beings, like,
Yeah.
and that kind of sense of like little old me, like, who am I kind of a thing. Whereas they don't see us like that. They're not like, oh, you little humans down there or whatever. It's for them, it's all part of that remembrance of, like you said, our angelic nature, or that divine connection that exists within us, that we're all worthy, that we're all inherently that divine love. And so it's about remembering that, and however that expression wants to come through you in this lifetime.
Yeah, we're all worthy. That's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really our choice. I like to see human beings as somewhere between animal and angel. And it's your choice. Do you want to be more animal, or do you want to be more angel?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, let me try and articulate this. When I feel this higher energy, this higher power, the higher self, as they say, I feel it just has one force, right? The force of God, maybe we could say, some sort of higher guidance. I identify it as just like a singular thing. Like, oh, that's the intuition speaking. That's the higher wisdom speaking. Mm-hmm. Now, you say angels, like they're plural.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like there's different, like literal different beings or different frequencies that you can attune to? Because I don't have that skill. Maybe I do, I just don't know. But I feel just like, I feel a higher wisdom, higher messages, and I keep it singular and simple like that. So why do you refer to them as angels rather than just like an angel?
Yeah.
You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I do. I love that. And it's interesting because I have witnessed that as well for people, like how you described it. And I feel like it's all kind of what feels true to you, or what is because I don't think that there's one soul path towards enlightenment, or reaching our potential or whatever. And so for some people, it's like you described, how it's kind of like that one singular intuition, divine message, or whatever. And I've seen other people say it like that too. And then I also believe that there is a path where people can connect with these other angelic beings, like in the plural, and that these angelic beings are all a reflection, individual reflections of that divine source. So, for example, there are many angels that exist: Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Uriel, Michael. I can go on and on and on and list so many different types. I won't list them all here because there's so many different within the archangel realm, but then there's also guardian angels and other angelic beings. And so the way that I see it is that when we connect with angelic beings specifically, it can, for some people on their journey, help to bring a closer connection with that divine. For some people, having that just direct, with God or that divine source can sometimes feel far away or far removed. And so I feel like angels can help bridge the gap, and they can help to bring a closer connection. And then also with different angelic beings, they do support us in different ways. So for example, Archangel Raphael, he's known for physical healing, for heart chakra healing, emotional healing, whereas Archangel Gabriel, he supports us with communication and helps us with understanding our truth and who we are and being able to express that. So then depending on what you are needing guidance with or support with, their specific frequency that they hold can be supportive towards that particular thing. So
I get it.
yeah. Luisa, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and it's a very great point that you're raising right here. The fact that we all feel them in different ways, and that's also okay. And you just mentioned that that was not your skill set or your abilities, but we all have it. It's just a muscle that we don't exercise. That's all. So the more we connect and attune ourselves to the angelic realm, the more we can feel those subtle differences. I know that was my case when I started working with them. And over time, I've developed a better sense of who is speaking and what type of angel it is. I can tell if it's my guardian angels, because there's also several guardian angels, not a singular guardian angel, or seraphim angels or archangels. Like you can, over time, if you are interested and if you want to develop the connection, you can start telling who is talking to you. So that's very, if you want to dive deeper, we all can do that, and they will start giving you signs, symbols. It can look different for people, right? But they will make sure they let you know who they are. It can be an intuitive knowing. You'll just know who you're talking to. And it's really interesting. It's almost like learning a new language. And that's the best way I can describe it over time, what feel like I've been doing. From dreams to physical sensation to intuitive knowings to many different things, that is just like learning a new language, and you can speak to them.
That's a fascinating way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard it put that way. It's like learning a new language. Mm. But it's not even using words, right? I mean, you could say words come through, but it's a different kind of communication.
It's very different, and it's so subtle. It's emotion, it's intuition, maybe a word
Yeah.
here and there, but it's very subtle. So you have to quiet down and let them speak and be open to hearing them. But it's not going to be words. It's going to be different for everyone. And I say this to Cristina all the time. I would love for just getting her brain and know like what that looks like for her, because for her it is like she's seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, everything at the same time, which is pretty incredible. I'm only like on the road to get there, hopefully someday. And for me, it's a lot more subtle. So it takes, quiet moment, meditation, and just to really tune in. But it's really special.
Be still and know.
Be still and know. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so Christina, how would you begin to explain what comes through for you? Is this, just, yeah, that's the question. How would you, what is this language? What is this different language?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And yeah, I also say it too, sometimes talking to clients. I'm like, I wish I could put you in my brain right now so you could really see what I'm seeing and sensing, because I feel like when I'm trying to explain it, my words are much slower than what's actually happening. But I'll break it
Hmm.
down. The first thing usually that happens when an angelic being comes forward is I see their energy and I see it in my mind's eye. So I'm not seeing it like they're directly in front of me, but I see in my mind's eye their color. So I don't really see angels so much as like what we might typically see, you know, a human with like these angel wings. Sometimes for guardian angels, they will a lot of the times come through like that. But when speaking to archangels, for example, I just see them as this color of this light, this color energy. And so that immediately is like, okay, I feel an angelic being coming forward. And then it paired up with my just inner knowing. I know, oh, that's Archangel Raphael or that's Archangel Michael or whoever else it is. So that comes through almost like together at the same time. I've also been doing this for over 8 years. So I'm very familiar with their energies at this point as well. Back when I first started doing this, it was a bit more like, let me tune in for a second and really sense who this is. Now it feels more kind of like, okay, I know who this is that's coming forward. So that's the first thing. Then as I'm receiving messages, it often first comes through as I also start to visually see. So they'll show me things. And a lot of the times it'll be symbolic or have some sort of symbology with it. For example, if they're encouraging someone to start writing, like maybe I see, you know, a journal out and a book and a pen, and I see them writing. So it might be something like that where they show it to me visually. Then they'll also say certain things. And when I hear their words, it's often short phrases or just a single word. It's not like they're talking to me in these long sentences and saying all these things. It's very kind of like quick, short, things like that. Sometimes when I'm in, like, you know, I'm having a conversation with a client and I'm like, oh, they just said this word. And then pick up on the word. And then as I say it, again, it combines with an inner knowing, that clear cognizance of like, oh, I just know what this means. And then I start to explain what it means. And it doesn't come from within me. It's just like a knowing that starts to come through as I'm sharing, as I'm speaking. So all of that happens within the first, you know, 30 seconds that I'm talking to someone. And that starts to come through. And then it just kind of, it's a combination. So it's a mix of all those ways in which they bring through communication that I then also am on a conscious level putting it all together and making sense of it as well. So I feel like that's part of the practice too for anyone who is on the journey of channeling or connecting or communicating. You're also practicing your own skill of making sense of what's coming through and understanding. And then sometimes when I am channeling, I'm also asking them questions like, can you clarify what that means? Like, I don't like help me to understand what you mean by that. And so I'm internally asking them questions while I'm speaking to someone. And so it's just this big craziness that's going on.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
yeah. I could see it from how you described it as a skill that we have to hone in on.
Yeah, yeah, and that is how I describe it. I describe this as a skill more so than a gift. I
Um,
talk about our ability to channel and connect as a skill. Anyone can learn it, and it's just a matter of how does it show up for you, because not everyone's going to receive and or have the same experience as me, let's say. And as someone who's a spiritual mentor, my goal isn't to make someone be able to do it how I do it. My goal is to support them in discovering what their unique way is to be able to connect and receive messages and then develop the skill and master it and really develop that so that they get really good at that.
Mhm.
cool. So, would there be any general explanation of how this comes about in people's life? Though I know we may have our differences in some way in the practices and the modalities, but would you be able to describe like a summary that everyone can relate to?
Hmm, that's a good question.
I
I feel
think,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, because we have different ways of doing it. So I feel like Luisa, if you share,
But you developed a pretty amazing framework. Like when you like, I did Christina's angelic healing certification a while back, and then easing us into the process, going through the clairs individually helps a lot. So with the angels. So when you start, and that's how it unfolded for me, when you start tuning into your own energy and understanding your own energetic system, and when you go through, start feeling your own chakras and your own energy, that's a great way to start, because then you can tell what your energy feels like. And then from there, you start to expand little by little and go through every single clairvoyance, clairsentience, and all the different clairs, and start to practice one by one. And so you can start to tell things apart, and what's ego and what's your own inner voice and what's your own energy and what feels foreign to you and what's not coming from yourself. And so then you slowly start to develop that confidence about what's coming through. And that's like, oh, that's not my inner monologue. That's not me. That's not my voice. Or how would I know that? Or that sensation is familiar. And what is that? Tuning in and waiting for indication of who that is. And so little by little, we start telling things apart and developing that skill set. So I think that that's a great way to do it. Just starting by feeling our own energy, and then starting to understand each one of those clairs and how information comes through for each one of us, because it looks so different. Some people may see, in my case, I do have flashes of like images and symbology. They're very big on symbology. So images and flashes of different things. But for me, it's very physical. So it's almost like a system of taps. And so when I know that when I feel someone tapping me here is a certain guardian angel, I know when I feel something here, it's someone else. Like here is Archangel Gabriel. It usually comes as, and I feel like a hand here, a hand here. So it's a system of tap. It's really weird, and only I can tell what that means. And it's going to look so different for someone else. And that is starting to, blend in with intuitive knowings, with hearing certain things, with having flashes of images. And then when you put it all together, you have a better sense. Even the other day, we were speaking on the podcast, and then Archangel Raphael was coming through, and I physically feeling like he was showing me something on my screen that I needed to talk about. So it evolves over time, and they find a way to get through to you in a way that's going to feel safe, that's not going to, scare you, and that it's going to help you open up more and more over time.
Mm-hmm. So all in all, it's just to be simply aware, practice awareness.
It's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say awareness and discernment too, because it's also about discerning between what your mind is saying, like the ego, versus what is the intuitive energy that's coming through.
I feel like that comes natural with a meditative practice, right?
Yeah, for
That's what I feel,
sure.
at least.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like as we are in tune and become aware of the presence of angels and our guides and just being tuned into that higher frequency, it definitely you definitely can start to tell the difference, and you start to be able to notice different things and see different symbology too, or signs, and the way messages are coming in that you maybe didn't notice before. So yeah, it starts to strengthen through that.
Yeah. I feel also the discernment allows me to blatantly know what is good or not good for me, right?
Yes.
It's like the many messages that come through, I know that is, I guess you could say, positive or negative with the awareness practice. It's because maybe you guys can attest to this. With awareness, we can also get messages that aren't in our best interest, right? That aren't from the angels per se.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the natural apparentness that I feel through a meditative practice. It's like I just automatically know. Is that, I don't know what it is. It's the booty mind that some may say in yoga. That's just like an inner knowing of a yes or a no to what I need to listen to.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I'm simple minded. Maybe that's just me.
No, but the more we talk about these things, honestly, those are the answers. The simpler it is, that's it. That's really
Yeah.
it, because
Keep it simple.
exactly. But it's a great point, because when we're open to the spiritual realm, there's so much in there, so many different types of beings and energies, good and bad. And so that discernment is really important. And the more we practice and the more we can tell what is what. And that's what I personally love so much about working with angels, because you're naturally just tuning into a different frequencies. Like you're in a different radio station, right? So then that other stuff, you filter through a lot of things that you just don't want in your space, in your energetic space, and you go straight to an angelic being of light and love that is just not going to have any other, any ill intent whatsoever. So you just naturally filter out a lot of the just stuff that you don't want to be.
The junk.
Yeah.
And the demons.
Wow.
Well, let me ask you that. Do you think it's possible to also channel demons? There's got to be a dark side to it, right? Or just bad energy altogether?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that there's many different vibrations and frequencies that exist.
That's black magic, right?
In this earthly realm. Yeah, absolutely. I do believe, and I do believe that there's some call it a spiritual warfare that's going on right now, a battle between dark and light. And, we see it in our everyday life here on earth. And I do believe that that's something that exists. And that's why it's even more important for us, like you were saying, to build that awareness and that discernment. And to me, Luisa said this earlier, it's like a muscle. I feel like the more that we practice through meditation, as one example, and other ways that we deepen that connection, it strengthens the muscle, which then helps us to be aware of when that energy is around or, whatever, and help us to exist on a higher frequency at a higher level.
Yeah. Because you know what the thing is? I think no matter what we're channeling, we're always channeling. We're all channels, as you said. So it's a matter of what are you channeling? Exactly. And a lot of us aren't aware of what we're channeling. We're channeling that black magic and we don't even know it.
1,000%.
And Cristina speaks about this a lot, and just what you consume, right? It's key. Yep. And who you're surrounding yourself with, the types of things that you're watching on TV, the things that you're consuming on social media. It all feeds into that energy, and you start attracting those things. So yeah, really important to filter through that. And it's that simple. Is if you feel contraction, if you feel fear, that's usually an indication that's something that you want to stay away. If you feel love, if you feel expansion, then you're on the right track. It makes you happy. So it's just that simple, really. And it's not a super complicated system, but your inner knowing will just know.
Leads the way.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Well, you know what the darkness does is it sells us lies of feeling good. Sort of hedonistic pleasure. Like, oh, this will make you feel good. But those are just lies. This true feeling good, this joy that the angels bring is a good that is better than good. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's more than pleasure. It's bliss. Yeah. And it's a higher feeling. It's a higher frequency than any temporary pleasure the demons could bring.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that comes back to also what we were speaking to earlier about the remembrance, how in that, like you were mentioning, like the bliss and that joy, that pure divine energy that comes through with that. I feel like there's a level of remembrance that's connected to it where we feel authentically our true self, versus if it's a lower level pleasure kind of thing, like what you're referring to, it doesn't help us feel more connected to ourselves. It doesn't bring us divine remembrance. It doesn't help us to feel more aligned with our soul. It's just that quick hitter, and then addiction and whatever else, it goes on, goes on and on and on. So I feel like that's the part of the discernment too, is do we feel more aligned with our true self, our remembrance, connected to our soul? And that is then also comes back around to intuition. It's that intuitive knowing, like this is who I am. This is my soul's connection and I know it. And versus the other one, it's like leaves you feeling empty afterwards,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It leaves one in a void, when the other side of the coin, the light, leaves one fulfilled.
Yes, exactly.
It's the difference between, like, as you said, needing more or not needing anything. When you're working with the light, it's very unconditional. Like, you don't You don't need anything per se from the world to grant you that bliss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the battle. That's the battle within that we're all waging.
Right, right, exactly. Because we are, our human part, our ego is connected to those things versus the soul that isn't. And so it's like it's the inner battle that's happening all the time.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, though, is the darkness doesn't necessarily go away, right? So would you say the light allows us, this may be a deep question, but we're going there. Now, would you say the light, the angels allow us to work with the darkness better, almost like transmutate the darkness? Because we're here, we're in Satan's world, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're on earth. So
right.
are the angels like teaching us how to play with the darkness in some way so we don't continue the cycle that we built up over the years?
Yeah, I do definitely. I feel like a part of it is absolutely understanding how to navigate the darkness and
Yeah,
how to,
navigation,
yeah,
exactly.
navigating it because that's what we're here to
Mhm.
do. We're here navigating this world.
Mhm.
And like you said, as we stay committed and dedicated and connected to our light through the navigation through the dark, it does change cycles. It does shift the generations that come afterwards because now we're setting us a path or a course that's different in terms of the frequency that we're tapped into and in terms of what we are remembering and how we're navigating it. Whereas if you think about the past, a lot of the times the darkness consumes the person or the soul, and so they don't navigate it quite in connection to their true self,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Yeah, it's almost like you turn the darkness in on itself. Use the tools of the darkness. For instance, like what we're doing right now, one may say technology is the mark of the beast. You've probably all heard that before. Or the internet is evil in some way. Technology that we have all around us isn't quite good for us, but it's all in how you use it. I think that's
Right.
really what the angels are teaching us, and how to navigate is essentially just how we utilize the world to be in the world and not of it, you
Right.
know?
Exactly. That's the key. We're here. That's the point. I mean, we're here to have a human experience. I mean, that's the whole point of coming here. But yeah, helping ourselves and navigating this whole human reality with the angels helps us connect to our higher self, to our source, and just keep it tethered in the knowing that we're not of it. We're not of this world, and we're connected
Yeah.
to source, and we're just here. It's all. I like to think about it as a video game, even like it's one of the best analogies. Like you
Yeah.
just turn it off and that's it. It's done. It's not real anymore. So keep ourselves grounded in the fact that it's temporary. It's a human experience. Enjoy it for what it is, of course, as well. But not get sucked into it. It's not what matters. It's not the reality of our being and who we are, and this soul of the journey, the journeys of the soul, and where we're going ultimately.
Amen. Yeah. I feel levity. I think that is quite angelic, actually. I think that's just natural,
Mhm.
like levity, right? Like
Mhm.
a lightness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lightness amidst the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what would you say is the direction that these angelic beings are taking humanity toward? Like, are they benevolently bringing us into this new world? Is that what they want us to do, to serve that force of bringing heaven on earth?
That's a really great question. I can share, what I sense, what I felt over the years, and I do believe that the way that we are meant to exist in the world is meant to change, and I also believe that that's going to happen over many generations. I don't necessarily feel like, let's say, our generation is going to necessarily see all that, maybe the beginnings of it if we're lucky, but I do
Yeah.
believe that we're heading towards that. So yes, I do feel like and I say this all the time in my videos and teachings and stuff, is the old paradigm, and how the
Mm-hmm.
old system, the old paradigm is crumbling. And we see it right now. Everything's crumbling, everything's shifting, everything's changing. And again, speaking to the point we were just talking about, through this, when we see the things crumbling, are we getting sucked into the chaos of it, or are we able to navigate and take that, what many call chaos, and actually direct it towards the new and building towards
Yeah.
the new? And I see it as the new paradigm and the new way of being. And I do see Earth, the humanity and Earth itself, coming back. As I'm talking right now, what I hear is restoring balance, like restoring balance to humanity, because right now we
Yeah.
are very off balance. Like everything from our connection to nature to the connection to spirituality and to the divine, like it's very off balance as a whole, collectively speaking. And so I do feel like there is a restoration of balance that's taking place, which is why are seeing so much chaos right now. That's why it feels like everything is crumbling down, because it has to, so that we can rebuild new, like a new way, a new earth, essentially, is what people call it. And I do
Yeah.
really believe that that's happening. But like I said, I feel like right now we are planting the seeds and helping to guide that direction, but I do feel like it's the younger generations that are going to actually really bring that into fruition.
I think so too. I agree.
Yeah.
Mm. That's what it feels like to me. And that's also a different that's a different wavelength to work on than this world is used to. It's living for something and creating something other than yourself for future generations, right? For the whole world in the future, and knowing that it is not just a possibility but an inevitability as well. Like I feel that pull, like yeah, it's gonna happen, it's
Yeah.
inevitable,
Mhm.
just kind of going with the flow of it.
Yeah.
And that's like a sense of maturity. I think that's us also becoming mature collectively. I mean, individually as well, but as above, so below. Collectively, I think we're maturing into the being that we were supposed to be. And what we're supposed to be is servants to each other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serving each other throughout the generations. And we're getting there slowly but surely, but I really do think we're going to get there. And it may seem so like corny and hippie-ish to say, right? People probably think we're crazy, but I can't see it any other way.
Yeah.
Like, it's obvious to me.
It is. It is. And but it's a beautiful thing too, to think about it when you are of service to something bigger than yourself, and when you're just
Yeah,
a link in the chain, and you're just
that's it.
working for the future of humanity, you're a part of the evolution, but it's bigger than yourself. And that also brings a great sense of purpose to life, right? That you're being of
Exactly.
service to a better new earth coming in the future.
Yeah, right. And that's what I feel a lot of us lack is purpose. That's why I think there is a mental health crisis, because we lack inherent purpose. A lot of our purpose is tied to a paycheck or trying to look cool on the internet or something just very shallow. But when you have a purpose of living for something other than yourself, greater than yourself, it's priceless.
Yeah.
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 I agree.
Yeah. And that's what the angels show us.
That's right.
Oh no.
That's right. That's what they help us to remember, what that bigger purpose is.
Yep. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know what to say. What are we at? We're at 39 minutes. I feel like I could talk to you more, but that's a good note. I feel like to wrap it up at. Um, I mean, do you have anything you want to riff off of? Anything on your mind right now? Are the angels with us now? They got any
Oh yeah,
messages?
they're with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can share what's coming through, and I just want to speak to what we were just talking about right now. I felt it so deeply. Like for me, a huge, I guess, indicator. We were talking about how we sense things earlier. And to me, when my heart chakra, I feel like it lights up. I feel like I sense this energy of I don't know, tingly, the sensation. I feel
Yeah.
emotional. to me, that's when truth is being spoken. And as we were just
Mm,
sharing that, as you were just speaking to that, like I felt that within me. So I just wanted to bring that forward and just say I felt that on a deep level of that truth being spoken.
mm,
But speaking about the angels, I do feel Archangel Raphael and Archangel Gabriel as the two angels who are coming in right now and bringing in just love and guidance and support. I feel that whoever's listening right now to this episode, I feel like they're bringing in that message of hope and helping people to know, especially if you've been in a place where you felt lost or disconnected or just unsure or just kind of like what is my path, where am I supposed to go, what am I supposed to do. I feel like they're bringing in this message of hope, of knowing that as you continue to pursue just simply the spiritual connection in whatever way feels good to you. So whether even it's as simple as going out in nature and just sitting by a tree or a river or the ocean or wherever you are in the world, being in tune in that way, or through meditation, or reading books, or listening to podcasts like this one, or whatever other way that helps you to feel more in tune and feel more connected, that they're saying keep pursuing that, because that is what's going to lead you to answering that big question that's on your heart, that is why am I here, or what am I here to do, what's my bigger purpose. That's the message that they're bringing through. And I also just want to say, I feel right now as, and this is one of the cool things about working with energy, is that it's embedded in the recording. So no matter when you're listening to this recording, you're going to feel this. I feel Archangel Gabriel and Raphael coming in, and they're bringing in the swirling energy into the listeners' hearts, like helping to activate and bring through a deeper level of connection and healing to themselves and to their soul. And I just see the swirling energy. It's like a white with sparkly energy that's coming in and swirling around their heart center. And it's a way, they're saying that they're bringing this through as a way to help open you up to a deeper level of peace and a deeper level of love within your life. And so that as you continue, like I was saying, diving into whatever way that spiritual connection comes through for you, knowing that what they just brought through, that activation, is supporting you in deepening that connection and leading you onto the next step. Whatever, like breadcrumbs. Think of it as breadcrumbs. Like whatever the next thing is, the next thing, and trusting in that and feeling a deeper level of trust within your path, your purpose, who you are, and how you're being guided. So
wonderful.
that's what they wanted to share.
Mm,
The world can feel so overwhelming these days. It's everything's happening. Wherever you look, it's just hopeless sometimes. But I think the most important message and of the angels is it's hope. You're not alone.
yeah,
You're not navigating this human experience alone. There's a whole team out there of divine beings of light and love that just love you on an individual level, but also care and support humanity as a whole, even through this darkness and all the chaos that's unfolding around us. And you can make a difference just with that, just following the breadcrumbs, following what's making you happy, follow your soul's truth and your divine path. And just through that work, all of us collectively are building something better. So there's hoping that even in the midst of chaos, whatever you are, you can do something to build that new earth. And angels are there every step of the way.
beautiful. I feel it. Feel
Amazing.
the love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that so miraculous to know that we're not alone? Right?
That's amazing. Yeah,
We got these super beings on our side, and it's not just a fairy tale. That's the
exactly.
truth, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, on that note, I think we can start to wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to say, though? Or do you want to keep it at that?
I think that's good. It feels complete. Like I feel this
I think
sense of
so.
like, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Cristina and Luisa, thank you so much for joining me today. This was a wonderful conversation. Went by like this.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. I feel it. I feel the love. And that's it. I thank you for aiding me in my remembrance and anybody that listens in the future as well. And keep up the good work. Seriously.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having us.
much.
For sure. Peace and love to you, and peace and love to anybody that listens to this song. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.